But the next thing the guy mentioned is verbally de-escalate the situation. Now again, if I step on his toe, yes, I can verbally de-escalate. Yo, sorry man, I didn't see your foot. Let me pay for your shoe polish. Really, I'm really sorry. You can de-escalate that. When I'm on his girlfriend, I'm like, yo man, sorry. Your girlfriend is very nice. I don't mean anything. You can de-escalate like that. But again, these are social skills that you should have learned from your parent or from your friend, from socializing in school, in party, at work, whatever. You shouldn't need to go to a self-defense expert to learn how to de-escalate a situation, right? The bottom line is don't be an asshole. Don't step on somebody's foot and say, yo, watch where your foot are going, man. What's wrong with you? Are you stupid? Are you daft? Don't do that, and then the situation wouldn't escalate. Okay, as simple as that. Now, if I meet a bully who tries to punch me to show to his friend that he is the alpha male, nothing in the world you say is going to de-escalate that. And the very fact that you try to defuse the situation is going to fuel him even more wanting to hit you, because bullies feed on the weak. When I say, yo man, chill down, I don't want to fight you, it makes him even more eager to punch you, because bully want to punch the weak. The weaker you are, the more they want to punch you. So in situations like this, you can't verbally de-escalate it, okay? Instead, again, be the better fighter, be confident. I've met bullies before that didn't want to throw a punch after realizing that I'm more confident than them. And confidence is not about puffing up your chest, like, what's wrong with you? I'm going to punch you in the face. It's not about that, okay? When I'm trying to show confidence, I just smile at him, right? When he's trying to, to threaten me, I just like, yeah, you want to fight? Okay, let's fight. You want to be easy, right? When you actually very easy at a violent confrontation, it makes them feel unease. The more you're gonna, I'm gonna hit you, watch out. The more you do that, the more they're not gonna be scared of you. Of course, I'm not trying to teach you how to deal with situations like this, because I can't act confident because I know I can kick his ass. That's why when someone threatens me on the street, in other places, I laugh in their face. I give them like a very cold laugh. I'm like, yeah, sure. When they say you're gonna hit me, I say, yeah, sure, come, let's do it. I don't give them off a very, puff up chest, very defensive vibe. But this might not work for you. So this isn't trying to tell you how to deal with the situation. It's to tell you that those are situations that you can't verbally de-escalate by trying to talk your way out. And furthermore, if he's a criminal, he wants my wallet, wants my watch, wants to do things to me, how on earth do you think you can verbally de-escalate that? You can't. So again, not saying verbally de-escalate is not important, but the situations that it works in are situations that you should already know how to de-escalate, aka don't be an asshole to people. And besides that, those situations that goes beyond this are situations that you cannot verbally de-escalate to begin with. Bullies, criminals, drunk people, you can't de-escalate that. So when you meet a situation like that, you know what? Be the better fighter. Be so better trained that you can drop them on the ass in the first 5 seconds. And then you're safe. And I'm not trying to promote that you should punch everyone that comes your way. But the fact that you are the better fighter will give you a sense of confidence and security. You can still try to de-escalate. I'm not saying you shouldn't. But you know deep down in your heart that should the situation go south, you're going to kick his ass. And that's more important than anything else. Okay? So again, verbally de-escalating is a concept that's important to self-defense, but it's not as important as some people might put it. Okay? Being a better fighter is far more important. Anything you want to add to this?
No, nothing.
Have you ever de-escalated a situation?
Yeah, a little bit here and there. But the thing is, the bottom line is whether do you choose to verbally or be a better fighter, right? All these are tools, and I think the more tools at your disposal, the better. And also, it's a lot of it is about, like Chris says, about confidence. So training to be a better fighter actually change your mindset. And never know, there might just be a situation where you can't talk out of it, and you are required to fight. At least you know that you have been trained, or at least you have spent efforts on it, and that will give you the confidence that might just carry you through. It's another tool, useful tool. So it's actually quite dangerous to rely on only one avenue to handle any situation. The more tools are available, the more options you have got, the better. And fighting, being a better fighter, is one of the options.
So what on the two, right? Yes, so situational awareness, verbal escalation, reading social cues, all of those are twos. So I'm not saying now these things are not important. The problem is the priority, right? The problem with a lot of these self-defense courses out there is they oversell these things, because these are things that supposedly other schools don't talk about. So they market on these things to tell that these are the real self-defense skill. And they undersell the importance of fighting. And that's a big problem. A lot of these self-defense experts, so to speak, can't really fight themselves. I mean, if I look at some of the videos, their own body alignment, their own body mechanic, all bad. And I'm not saying this from an internal, the foundational force perspective. I'm talking about even from a combat sport, external perspective. The way they throw punches, the way they move around are very bad. Okay, they're not a good fighter. And that's why they cover that problem up with overselling these other aspects. But if I were to say, being a better fighter is at least 50% of your solution, or your training need to be focused on being a better fighter, the another 50% can be split among all these other aspects. And again, a lot of them should have been common sense if you grew up in a functional family. Right? It shouldn't be something that you take a special course for. But fighting, you do need to take a special course and train very hard for. That's the one thing that you can't acquire through common sense. Now, the next thing that the person talk about is giving advice on the law. Again, I believe he was mentioning that you can tell a proper self-defense expert can advise you to what degree of force you should use on a given situation. And to that, I say stop that. Okay, if somebody is trying to hurt me in real life, and what I tell my students, if somebody tries to hurt you in real life, forget about the law, forget about what's legal, protect yourself. You rather break the law and drop his ass on the floor than try to be a law-abiding citizen and have your ass in the hospital or in the cemetery. Okay. Forget about law. You're not in a superior position that you can dictate the outcome of a confrontation. Focus on winning that confrontation as gruesome as possible, with any means possible. Focus on dropping the guy, not focus on not breaking the law. Right? Forget about the law. If you try to say, maybe I shouldn't hit him in the ball because I can get sued. Maybe I shouldn't hit him on the back of the head because maybe I'll get sued. Well, you know what? When you die, you can't sue him either. Maybe your family can, but you did. Okay, so why bother about the law? Focus on surviving. Okay, so that's more important. So, and also, right, strictly speaking, only a lawyer can really give you advice on the law. And once you defended yourself against a criminal and you think that you might be implicated against the law, hire a lawyer. Let the lawyer figure it out. Why go to a self-defense guru and have him advise on the law when you can just get a lawyer who can do 100 times a better job? The next thing that I pick up is, like some of them would like to play with concept and word. Like, I've seen this one guy who say, don't try to fight someone. This isn't a fight. This is a hunt. Well, the notion is sort of correct, right? You want to be the predator rather than the victim. You want to be the superior party in this conflict. But how is that different from fighting? Okay, they think that, again, as a marketing scam, right, to suggest that combat sport, boxing, MMA, martial arts, they only train how to fight, but we here train how to hunt. How are you hunting when you're the one walking down the street and somebody else attack you? It's a good mentality to have, sure, but it doesn't actually fit this situation. And how would you think these MMA professional fighters are not having the same mentality in the ring, in the octagon? When they come up against an opponent in the ring or in the octagon, they're not there to play fight with them. They're there to beat his ass down so they can win and take the prize money. So their mentality are all like a hunter. They just don't talk about it because there's no need. Everyone knows fighting is about being superior. It's about dropping the other guy on his ass and knock him out and hurt him. You don't need to add another layer of concept of, this is not a fight, this is a hunt, and try to down talk people who treat it as a fight. This is a fight, okay? And fighting is not any less than the mentality of going into a hunt. So don't make people pretend that they are two different things. If you're part of a decent gym or a decent martial arts school, and you do proper fighting, right, not these play fights, or like set routines, 1, 2, 3, 4, then you already have the mentality of fighting. And you don't need to have a different mentality of a hunter mentality. If you're constantly fighting with people, you already conditioned your mind and your mental fortitude to be a fighter. And when somebody attacks you, you knock his ass out because that's what you trained for. Okay? On the contrary, a lot of these, I'm not saying all of it, but a lot of these self-defense students that I've seen are these fat, clumsy, lazy people who believe in a magical power that when they attend a self-defense course, They magically have the ability to defend themselves and make them feel better about their life. Maybe they got bullied when they were a kid, when they were picked on. I'm not saying all of them are like that, right? I'm not trying to down talk on victims of school bullying. But what I'm trying to portray is that there are people who are not willing to train hard and fight people, okay? And they often use this as an excuse or a diversion to the reality. The truth is, you got to be vigilant, you got to train hard, you got to take punch to your face, take punch to your body, you got to suffer in order to be a better fighter. When you are squaring off with someone, whether he's a criminal, a bully, whatever, a drunkard in a bar, it doesn't matter. All it matters at the end of the day is who have put in more effort in the training. When I often tell my students, right, when you fight with someone, it's not about anything else, it's about who put in more effort. If I train more, chances are I am going to win. If he trained more and I was lazy, he's going to win. It's as simple as that. There's no magic or special thing that you can attend a course and learn that will save you. It's just hard training. And that's the one thing that often people are not willing to accept or acknowledge. They try to find other excuses to divert themselves from the truth, which is the fact that they don't want to get hit in the face. Right? I've had students who come to me and say, do I learn self-defense? And the first time I whack them on the face, and not even very hard, they walk out the door, because that's not what they want. They want to train self-defense without getting hit in the face, and that's not possible. Okay? And those people often are the ones who go to self-defense courses. It makes them feel confident without actually getting punched in the face or kicked in the leg, without going home with bruises and injuries. Of course, I'm not saying that training should always injure you, and I do try not to injure my students. But the reality is, if I don't hit him, at least semi-hard, he will never know what it feels like to get punched. And on the street, he can have all the drills he wants in the head; those are fake. When somebody actually hit him in the face, everything's gonna go bland, and he's gonna, get into a mindset where he's shocked, and then he's gonna not forget everything that he's been taught, and he's gonna become the victim and get victimized. It's simple as that. But if he trains in class hard enough, when somebody hits him in the face, he doesn't really get phased or get dazed, then he's got a much better opportunity to win the fight. So again, hard training trumps everything else. I'm not saying that those things are not important, but training how to fight, training hard, realistic fighting are more important than any of these. Right, next, I'm going to just quickly share a few examples. Obviously, I've been to a lot of street altercation, as they say. I don't claim to be a self-defense expert because I actually hadn't really been victimized. I just have a bad temper and I have a very weird view on principles. For example, if I'm driving down the street, someone cut my lane without indicating, I'll overtake them, I'll brake, I'll make sure they stop, I'll get out of the car, and I'll knock on the window and I'll say, yo man, is your indicator broken? Are you handicapped? Do you not have a hand? If no, why the hell do you not indicate? Right? I do things like that to people, and often they get upset and they want to punch me, and then I kick their ass. So I have been to a lot of physical altercation with people, but not as a victim. So I don't claim to be a self-defense expert, but I do claim that I have more experience on fighting people than most of you watching this video. And I will tell you that, being a superior fighter is much better than anything else that you can ever learn. All right. In fact, I've often walked down the street. This is South Africa, right? If you don't know, it's one of the lesser safe places in the world. A very high crime rate. I often walk at night on the street, and you know what? The other, people on the other side of the street, when they see me walking, they will walk on the other side. They will cross the road and walk on the other side. So, I don't really get victimized, and people are actually scared of me for some reason. So I'm not saying that you should be like me, but so I'm just saying that I'm not a self-defense expert, but I have been into a lot of altercations, and I used to do a job that is not something I can say on camera. And due to that job, I had a lot of altercation, even with blades, stuff like that. But I can't talk too much about that because I don't implicate myself to anything. So I'm going to talk a few examples of other things. First of all, I had a student who was trained under me for 3 months at a time. She was driving, stopped at a robot, her window was down, and then some guy came out of nowhere and then tried to stab her with a knife and tried to probably steal the car after he stabbed her. Again, you might think she needs a better situational awareness, which is true. But there's just times in this world where you can't be situational aware. For example, you had a bad day at work. Maybe you have your period. For those of you that don't know, when a female has periods, they can't full focus because it takes a lot. It drains the stamina and energy away. maybe you had a fight with your spouse, you had a fight with your boss just fired you, or whatever the reason, you could just not be in the zone to be situational aware. You're daydreaming about your difficulty at work, at school, with your relationship, anything. It happens. You can't count on being able to self-aware, situational aware all the time. Okay? But the moment she saw the guy pop out of nowhere, because he probably like hide around the back and then came out to stab her, she grabbed a knife. And the reason she was able to do that is because we do that in training. Right? She was used to me punching her and blocking that punch. So at the moment she wasn't prepared at all. She didn't see the guy coming. She just suddenly saw a knife coming. But because of her training in fighting, her natural reflex grabbed the knife. This is why I say reflex often triumphs any of the other preparational work, situational awareness, all of that are not as useful when push comes to shove compared to reflex. And then the guy pulled the knife, obviously cut her on the arm, so he had a massive cut, I think, on one of the arm. But she was able to get away, right? Instead of getting stabbed multiple times and die and having the guy steal her car, she got away. So you might say, she's actually just lucky, she could have been killed, which is true. But any self-defense situation like that is pretty much relying on luck. There are hundreds of things that can mishappen and someone might end up dead. And this luck is not something that even those self-defense gurus can eliminate, okay? If they're in a situation where luck is not favoring them, they're probably going to die too. No one can say with 100% assurance that I'm going to be put into any self-defense situation and I will survive them. It's not possible. Right? If you're not lucky, you're not lucky. So what she did survive partially based on luck, you can't deny the fact that she did have the reflex to grab the knife rather than getting stabbed multiple times in the torso. I have another student who was a high school student at the time, and he was sent to me by his mother because he was mugged walking home from school. And 6 months into taking classes from me, he was mugged again. And when the guy walked to him and pulled out a knife, he started kicking him in the stomach so hard, the guy stopped puking on the floor, at which point he ran away. And the reason he was able to do that is because back then I used to teach external martial art, and we emphasize a lot on kicks and its power. Okay, so we used to have a tree, and we have a heavy bag chained to the tree. Right? So you don't kick the tree directly because the tree is hard. You kick the heavy bag, but it's chained to a tree, so it has the resistance of a tree. You need to start kick that 500 times on each leg, and that's how he developed his kicking power. And therefore, with one kick to the stomach, the guy was completely incapacitated. Right? He was throwing up and vomiting, and all four on the ground. And that enables him to escape safely. And guess what? I didn't have to teach him how to run away. I didn't teach him, yo man, when you in a situation, kick him and then you run. I didn't say that. Because you know what? Running away is common sense, right? You shouldn't need to be taught that you need to hit somebody and run away. But you need to be taught how to kick and how to kick hard. And that's what he did. Okay, so I didn't teach him any situational awareness, any of these other aspects, but he was able to defend himself in the situation purely because he had a reflex, confidence, and a very strong kick. Next, I was in New York, Flushing High. I was going to school there, so in 2001, I believe. And we were lining up to get our lunch ticket, the cafeteria ticket from this office. A guy came in and he cut the line. So I've already said I have a bad temper and I have a weird sense of principles. I tell him, go back to the line. And then he didn't want to escort me. So I dragged him and threw him back to the line, and then he wanted to fight me. So we went to the staircase, right? In American schools, there's nobody in the staircase during, the bell already rang, so people are going to the period. So nobody in the staircase, there was no one there. So we got to the staircase, we put our bags down, and then, and we were scurrying off. And then he was, like a typical street guy kind of mentality. He was doing this. And then, when he was first doing that, I just smiled at him. And the moment he took a step forward, I could punch him in the face. And then, you know what? He picked up his bag and he left. Didn't even say a thing. I'm not saying that all fight is going to end this easy. But this is an example of how a superior fighter, both in terms of speed and power and reflex and everything else, will come on top. I didn't need to verbally de-escalate the situation. I don't need anything else. I simply need to trust my instinct that I will punch him before he make a move. And I didn't like, pull up my stance or anything, and I don't get baited by this, right? Normally, untrained people, they do this to bait you to see what kind of confidence you have, and I'll just standing very calmly. The moment he make a step, I just punch him in the face. And by then, he knows he's severely outclassed, and therefore, he don't want to fight anymore. Now, these are not criminal self-defense situations. What mine isn't, right? My students were. But it just gives you a basic understanding on real instance of self-defense, a real instance of strict allocation outside of school, of sparring. Okay? And in my experience, being a better fighter is better than anything else. Not saying you shouldn't have those other trainings, but they are not the focus. So if a self-defense instructor offers all of those things, but he sucks at fighting, then I would say that is not useful. Okay? Rather go to a professional MMA gym or go to an authentic martial arts school where the master knows how to fight and learn how to fight. Anything you want to add?
No, not for the time being.
Alright, there's one more case. I have another student. He's now in Taiwan. So he trained with me for a couple of years and we used to fight a lot, sparring. And one day he was in South Africa still, back then. He went to a KTV with a bunch of friends, Chinese friends. He's actually white, so he was hanging with a bunch of Chinese friends. Those friends pissed off some people from another group that was also in the KTV. So while they were singing, these guys charged into the room and started trying to attack them. And now naturally my student did quite well against them. And later on, afterward, he told me, you know what? Because he sparred with me so much, all those guys felt extra slow. But when we spar, we spar at full speed. It's quite fast. And when he got used to my speed, everyone else that he encountered that day felt really slow. And he was very easily be able to dispatch them, right? He didn't feel the pressure at all. And that's something that you should also take consideration. If you spar with better trained people, you will become a better trained fighter. Just like if you're playing chess against a world-class chess player, you'll improve a lot better. Whereas if you play chess with a primary school kid, you never get anywhere. Okay, so again, be the better fighter will give you way more advantage than anything else. So this is what I have to say about people who believe in self-defense. And I know that those who really buy into the cool aid is never gonna refuse to see the other side, and they'll never admit that they're actually hippies that don't want to actually fight. But which is fun. My video is for the rest of you who are open-minded about this topic. And again, I'm not saying all self-defense instructors are fake. You have to judge each one of them by their own merit. What I'm saying is, don't overly believe in this other jargon that they throw around, right? And those are important, but more importantly, look at what they can physically do. How well they physically move. Are they a well-trained fighter? Do they move fluently? Do they have proper body mechanics? That is more important than everything else, okay? So I'm not trying to bash on self-defense. What I'm saying is, it doesn't replace proper motion, value, and ability to fight. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, suggestions, you're welcome to leave in the comment below. If you enjoy my channel, please support me on Patreon. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching TriEssence Martial Art channel.